What's up, y'all? I'm back late as ever, but that's okay. We're gonna talk about Ready to Love, this reunion. I realize it's damn near Friday again, but people have things to do, and Ready to Love just don't be at the top of the list, especially when they ready to beat each other's ass. Apparently, that's what they ever here ready to do. Go ahead, like the video, subscribe to my channel. Let's get into this conversation real quick. So the reunion. After the pleasantries, Tommy comes in, does his thing, and then we're gonna start. Let's get straight into it. Kat had various connections, but no connections. I want to start with her look. Kat is a beautiful girl. I did like the top of her dress. It was very fitted and corseted, and the bottom was a whole lot of black satin. It was kind of unremarkable, which doesn't make sense because you got this tall, beautiful specimen that like probably looks good in most clothes, and that's what you came up with. I'm gonna give it a C because it's really not doing a whole lot. Didn't love the red lip, don't mind the smoky eye, loved her dreads, her faux locks, real cute. The hair was probably my favorite thing, to be honest. And yeah, like there's nothing wrong with her dress. I'm not saying she didn't look good because she did. I just feel like there could have been so much more. You know what I noticed? Like in every ladies' lounge, they all look so amazing. Like they were color coordinated, and through every ladies' lounge, they all looked good. And for the reunion, it's curious. That's it. So, okay. Kat did came in here. She had a date with Herbert. She had a date with Phil. And I don't know why Tommy thought that her and Quentin were supposed to somehow connect on such a, in his mind, I guess they are two good looking people, and he thought that they belonged together. I don't even see them having any type of similar personality. They barely had conversation that we saw. Because now we know going in that there was a whole lot more that we didn't see. But we're going to go based on just what we saw. What we saw was, let me say this. First of all, Kat, I don't think she's serious. I don't think she's ready for love. I think Kat's looking for a certain something.
Are you open to dating a man that has children?
I am.
But
Not children, child. Not children. Not plural, just one.
okay, that's
Just one, unless you be talking about like a Portia Simon, there's exceptions here and there for people.
Child, I'm gonna be quiet.
Because she's living like a queen, honey. I'm saying Portia's prayer every night.
And yeah. So I never got the vibe that she's serious about, being in a relationship. And I mean, she's 30 something. So I don't feel like it's necessary for her to pick. These might be the years where it's time for her to explore things and see what it is she wants. Me personally, I think Chris was probably a better fit for Kat because she says herself she doesn't mind leaning into her femininity, and she's looking for, or putting out there. What is she putting out there?
Queen, honey. I'm saying Portia's prayer every night.
Yeah. So, and Chris is looking for somebody who's, servitude. So I'm not sure why that didn't end up being a thing. Maybe she's too tall. I don't know. I don't know that that's a bad thing, but connection she did not have. She did not have a connection with Herbert. And Herbert is a 40-something-year-old man with a small child. I think his child is like 10 or 12. So as a woman with no children of your own, I think that's a big step. Like in real life, that's a big step to take to stand in this position as a step parent to somebody and their young child. I do think one thing that Phil does have going in his favor is that the kid is not 2 years old. That's always tricky, where you're like, y'all got a baby, y'all still have, all these years later. Hopefully, I don't know, because Phil doesn't. he didn't give a whole lot on that situation, but he didn't never make it seem like a positive thing. Most of the time when it's positive, the first thing you hear is we have a great, what do they call it? Co-parenting. We have a great co-parenting situation. For the folks that get along and are co-parenting, that's usually the first thing you hear. I didn't hear Phil say anything about co-parenting. So I don't know what that situation's like. But again, here you have a young, beautiful girl with options. Like, it's not like she needs to settle for anything at this point in her life. Her eggs are still egging and all the stuff is still, in place. So it doesn't surprise me that none of this was a connection for her. She said they didn't pursue her as like how she's used to be pursued. And they said that, like, they all said that they dropped the ball for the most part on pursuing. Both Quentin and Herbert sat up there and act like, I'm not used to these types of situations, juggling women. I don't believe that. I think they both know how to juggle women. I just think they're not used to juggling women that are going to go back to a mediation and discuss the date. And the answer to that is don't be a douchebag, don't be a jerk. You gravitate towards who you like and you see what's up. It's not that complicated. Except for when you're trying to hold on to all the bunnies. You have to let go of all the bunnies and just keep one bunny. But, that's generally not what they do. This conversation of the wild cards not having as much time as everybody else to bond with one another, I don't believe that's the issue. It didn't affect the people last season. What's that boy? Mario? What's his name? Mario too? The young guy. Anyway, the two of them, the two wild card people, went all the way to the end. So that doesn't necessarily mean anything. DeMario, maybe, no, it wasn't DeMario. Anyway, y'all know who I'm talking about. So I really don't think time has that much to do with it. When Kat came in the picture, they were all excited to see her coming. Chris had a shit-eating grin on his face. Phil couldn't stop giggling. Herbert was all in. And so she had everybody captivated just by her appearance. It was Marvin, I believe, so I think he had a thing for Kat. She just, it just didn't go any deeper than that. If anybody, first of all, Quentin was off the table. Quentin came, him and Janelle saw each other and they knew what it was. And so the thing is, with Joy and what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. Big old bearded man. They ended up getting married. When Joy and her dude met, there was this energy there that we could all see it. Never once did we ever feel like their connection wasn't real. We didn't know what the connection was going to be. They connected all the way down to matrimony. I don't know where they're at now because Love and Marriage DC went somewhere and didn't come back. But we watched Joy and golly, what's his name? We watched them connect and we believed it. Nobody was connected here. And I feel like that's more like a real life situation. When you out and you young, you be out to the club in your 20s, 30s and trying to, put on your best fit and you about to go see what's up. And you get there and you're like, nothing's up. No. There's 110 people in here. I don't like any of them. So, it's not likely that Tommy and his great skills can pick 20 people and, at least 3 of them fall in love with each other enough for them to go carry their ass to the bridge and pick each other. So back to my original point, Kat, the 3 weeks that you and Christopher came in late, I don't really think should have made that much of a difference. Same thing for Christopher. He came in all tall and handsome with that Southern accent that everybody was like, And then, I listened to Chris's interview. He seems nice. But he's another one that they had it in their head, these guys, which I find very weird. They had it in their head that they were very worried about somebody's connection with somebody else. You're supposed to go in there and connect, and you can't worry about what somebody else is doing or saying, because if it ain't that, it ain't that. That's just how that works. So he went in there worried about whose name was at the top and everybody's popular and what she might have connected with this dude like 3 weeks ago. Chris got in his own way by not reaching out, because I think a few of those girls were interested in getting to know him better. Kat, same thing. Like I said, she came in there, she captivated, and then it just didn't go any further than that. Marie seems to think that that's the only reason why they didn't end up together, as Jessica looks on, because she's the love of his life. But the only reason that him and Kat didn't connect was because of time. Those 3 weeks would have made all the difference. He would have probably not been in the situation that he was in today. He would have been sitting next to a different woman who doesn't want his ass, because that's what it is. Kat don't want him. There's no way in the world you can convince me that Kat had any type of interest in Marie besides playing the game that is who can stay here longer. And it worked. She stayed to the very end. I don't know why he didn't pick her. It would have been better probably than the choice he did make. Like, I guess he just wanted to stay true to his alliance, because I feel like Kat would have at least came out of here and pretended like she liked him, because Jessica made a 3 feet rule. Like, he couldn't sit nowhere close to her as they sit up in front of us and profess their love. So, yeah. Kat didn't connect with anyone. We didn't believe that she did. She said something kind of foul when it came to Quentin. Quentin said he just wasn't he wasn't interested in adding no more women to the mix. And he told her straight out the gate, like, I'm already caught up over here in enough drama. I don't need anything else. He didn't say drama, but y'all know what I mean. And she went on to say that she felt like she said she wished he would have given her an opportunity to get to know her, because she felt like he wasn't allowed to even talk to her, let alone get to know her. And so her implication is that Janelle somehow kept him from like reaching out, trying to talk to her. I think that's her ego a little bit. Quentin, and this is just my opinion, he said something like when him and Lee and the ex and Janelle went to dinner or went to eat or whatever, and he said something like, somebody going, somebody coming after your man, you're supposed to, get your man or what have you. So I feel like Quentin wants to be chased, and Janelle gave him all of that energy that he was looking for. So he wasn't likely to go for it. Same thing with Lee. He's definitely attracted to Lee. But all these men on this show seem kind of lazy to me. They all seem too lazy to put in the effort that it takes. Like, ain't no women out here chasing y'all. And for what? Like, these women are successful. All these guys on here, with the exception of Quentin, at least we know what he does. Everybody has this very vague explanation of what their career even is. Supply chain analyst. What does that mean? I guess it has something to do with numbers. I don't know what that means. Who else? Marie. What is Marie's occupation? Marie, he's just an entrepreneur. Chris is a construction developer, so that's very much direct. And we can see that, that says a lot about why he has money. What's another one of these guys? Red. Red is a celebrity tour DJ comedian. He's a what? See what I'm saying? I don't know what that means. So there wasn't no connection. So yeah, there was no connection there for Kat, and she wasn't ready, and it damn sure wasn't Maria. Even though they're giving each other these googly eyes, they're not really into each other. Okay, so speaking of Red, him and Unique. I don't like Unique's dress. It's doing too much at the top. I mean, that lavender is a pretty color. That's pretty much all I can give it. It looks like it's wearing her. She's a small person. She looks like she's drowning in all of this velvet, this lavender velvet. They just don't like each other, Red and Unique. And as corny as I can think Red is, because Red is a name dropper, thus his title, celebrity DJ. Red is a name dropper. This is what he does.
Second of all, I forgot my wine, but you got yours. What do you have over there?
Yeah, so since I be name dropping, this is my good friend's Terrell Owens, his 81 Vino wine that he has.
Okay.
So I guess he worked for TO2. I don't know. That's one of his celebrity friends. That's what he likes to tell us. We don't care. Red is not funny. Red thinks that his status is determined by his celebrity friends. He said TO. I guess he knows other people. I don't care. But Red is that guy that hangs around celebrities or tries to, what do they call them? I know there's a name for it. But Red is that guy. Anyway, Unique, though, I feel like she kind of played us a little bit because she wanted us to believe that she just came up with this thought job thing out of the blue. I don't want to hear thought job anymore. She said he had a thought job. He said it didn't really bother him. He's so not bothered by it that he went and had t-shirts made, as if we gonna walk around with a t-shirt on that says thought job. Red, we don't want to be associated with you. We don't want to dress like you. We don't want folks to think we fool with you. I realize that you got the best name in Dallas. You're the actual king of Dallas, but we don't want any of it. But that being said, Unique definitely had information from the outside that didn't even really make sense to me, the way she brought it up and the energy she was giving this dude. Somebody in the street gave Unique some information about Red and his relationship with his children and his ex-wife. And if you have some tea, then you probably should have just steered away from him. If you had the information and you wanted to tell him, because what she said was, what I heard him say actually was, you haven't even given me a chance. Back when, they were still on having this conversation on the show, he kept saying, you haven't even given me a chance. And I feel like he was probably saying, you have heard something about me in the streets, but she's not saying what it is. And then now you want to judge me based on that, and you haven't given me a chance. I'm with her. I don't need but 5 minutes to know I don't want to fool with you. And whatever she found out in the street probably wasn't relevant because they didn't click anyway. But, what's her name? Unique. Unique was stirring the pot a little bit with this dude. And he reached out to her to find out what the hell it was she knew about him or heard about him. He reached out to her via text and he reached out to her via DM. And she wanted to make it seem like, you reached out to me more than once, and it was all a big. Her energy is weird too. Like when she was on the show, she came across very nice, but now I'm seeing like a different. I'm not saying she's not nice. I'm seeing a different girl, and based on the fact that she's latched herself onto Tanquilla, it's just like Jessica and Janelle. See, just like they was besties through this process. Now they ain't even friends no more. Janelle was over there on live, says she ain't trying to talk to protect nobody, that it wasn't trying to protect her. And that's a whole nother conversation altogether. So yeah, as far as Red and Unique go, I think they're both a little strange. I think it's funny how she makes this whole explanation like, girl, did you look it up or did you create definition for it, because it sounds crazy. You got a thought job. I mean, I think thoughts be at jobs. That's how that goes. I think jobs be having thoughts. Yeah, not thought jobs. Because if you have a thought job and you're Marvin the erotic Adonis who does the list of things that he does over there, like, is that thought behavior? Is he a thought? Because you did not call him a thought. And when you got voted off the show, and then let's be clear, the only people that kissed on the show, I didn't see nobody else kissing. The only people that kissed on the show, and then he voted you off anyway after you put your mouth on him. And then when you got voted off the show, you went down to the dungeon and said you like to get the wax poured on you. And they had some type of thing going on between the two of them. I have really rushed to, another couple, but I might as well just dig it on in there while I'm here. She basically went over there, left the dungeon. Marvin said he got a woman, he picked somebody else, and that's that. That's the end of that story. Back over here to Red. What she did for Red was coming there with some tea, and then she held it against him. And I mean, it is what it is. I don't know her source. It could be a considerably good source. I'm just saying I question her and how she moved based on the fact that, and it ain't the Marvin thing, because it looked like he had to get rid of her. It looked like he went over there, she went over there following behind him, and she kept giving him this creepy look like, you still want this. And he's kind of like, I mean, thank you, ma'am, but I decided to do something else. That's the energy he was giving her. Yeah, she should have just stayed away from Red. So Tommy asked Red, what are you doing now? Red said he been, working, doing his thing. He didn't, just because he left the process doesn't mean he left Janelle. Quentin, you know what it is. She know where it's home. Quentin over there looking a damn fool because what was he doing? Why would Janelle been over here talking to Red? So much so that he said he's home for Janelle. And she's sitting up there cheesing, grinning. I feel like if somebody put me on blast like that, I'm not going to be grinning. I'm going to be like, I don't know what the hell you talk about. Trying to blow up my spot over here, sir. You better go on with your thought job and your thought t-shirt. No, she was grinning and cheesing. Then he said he'd been hanging around people like, I feel like, I don't know if I would call Unique unstable, but I would definitely call Tanquilla unstable. And Janelle, yeah, like she's giving unstable vibes too. So he said he'd been hanging out with people who have their head on their shoulders, like Kira, Janelle, and Tanquilla. So there's that. And like I said, Quentin's sitting here looking a damn fool. What you been doing, Quentin? While you was over here picking up Janelle, her angry ass, she was down to the telephone still talking to this funny looking nigga. What's his name? Red, the King of Dallas. That's what Janelle was doing. Who's next? Let's talk about Jessica and Marie. There is not much to say. We'll start with her look. Jessica looks beautiful. She normally does. Beautiful corset. Love just the way that, the dress was just her. Beautifully fit. Full, bustle skirt at the bottom, but giving a little leg at the same time. I wasn't a big fan of her hair. I feel like she should have went with the whole RBF and slick it back bun. Just be the bitch that they said you were, girl. Because what we have it right here does not make sense. Her and Marie sat on that couch like they at the divorce counselor. They got a whole big space sitting in between them, enough for a whole person, small child to sit there. And they wanted us to believe that, they connected with one another on such a deep level. what was that question Tommy asked? Tommy asked her, what did Marie do to separate himself from the rest of these guys? She said, first she said she was neutral the whole way through. I was neutral the whole way through, and I only had 2 connections. And so, you know, halfway through, then, you know, I figured out I wanted to put my energy over here. Neutral does not sound like a good thing. I mean, it is a good thing, but not as it relates to love. Like, I don't want neutral love. I don't want neutral passion. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the beginning. Like, I feel like once you've been together for an extended amount of time, then your love might get neutral at that point, and then you have to figure out something to spark it back up again. But I don't want to start at neutral. Well, they started at neutral, at least she did. Tommy asked Jessica, what did, you know, like I said, what did Marie do to separate himself from the rest of the gang? And she said, how did he separate himself? She looking confused. He looking a fool. Yes, how did he separate himself from the rest? And I had to think about that question as it relates to my own situation. And it didn't take me but a second to come up with an answer. I feel like when you love someone or feeling someone, you know, like they're supposed to be feeling each other, you kind of, that the bell goes off in your head and you have that moment where you're like, I think I like him. I don't know how that works for me, but I'm talking about from a woman's perspective. And she had nothing. She had nothing. I like his waves. His waves be waving. Nothing, nothing. He's sitting up there looking stupid. Should have just picked Cat. You were already at the bridge. At least then she would have leaned over, smiled at you, touched his little chubby belly. Nope. Nope. She can't think of anything. But where are they standing now? Well, this is the status of their relationship. They're in an extremely neutral point of getting to know each other better. They're dating. Tommy said he gonna check with them in a year and see like what's good, because he don't want to just hear that they're dating. The peanut gallery in the back said it ain't real. Y'all ain't kissed, it ain't real. I agree with the peanut gallery. Marie said they're gonna be working on family, marriage, what do you say? And a white picket fence, children, a white picket fence. That's what he's bad friendship for life. This makes no sense. I don't know why you would work so hard to get to the end, and for what? Your prize is Marie? And he deserves better too. Dang, Marie, you settling for this? For somebody who don't even want to sit next to you? I could sit next to you, you know what I'm saying? That mean we smashing, but I don't have to treat you like you got cooties. They got a whole C19 distance between the. Is there a markers on the bench between the two of them? 3 dots at least apart. Marie got more warmth from Pat looking at him across the room than he getting sitting next to Jessica. And here we are talking about this foolishness. I don't know what the prize is. I don't know what the outcome is supposed to be. Jessica in the beginning said it was like her graduation, like they was all graduating and then somebody was gonna have a job and somebody wasn't. I guess this is her job. What a horrible analogy. That's what she said. This is like you're about to go get your graduate's degree and you're walking across the stage and some people are going to have a job when it's over and some people are not. And it must be a whole ass job to sit here in this beautiful dress and pretend like I want to be in a relationship with Marie. You chose that life. girl. That's the life you chose. At the end of it all, they got nothing to say really about nothing. Tommy asked them if they had anything to add. They both said no. So they're gonna go back to their, back room probably and not even sit on the same side of the room. I have to look and see when they show the backstage if Marie and Jessica are even in the same frame, because it don't look like it. But that's the love story. I'm glad they got that one over with, because there's nothing to it. And we've been new. This is where the show got a little weird. They got Habibi here. Honestly, I don't know why he's here. Because of the way he behaved with Janelle. Now, I saw him being disrespectful on Crystal XO. I saw him being disrespectful in his conversation with Sierra, and pretty much his every interaction and how he carries himself. And I wonder, like, this season they have Habibi, Tequila, and Janelle. And I feel like these three people are pretty damn volatile and probably shouldn't be in this environment. Even though Janelle is very much well-spoken and she thinks she knows how to carry herself in such a manner, she is definitely a ticking time bomb. Can you imagine having to go to work and Janelle's the other Black girl? Speaking of the other Black girl, if you haven't watched it, it's really good. It's an interesting story. I'm kind of caught up. But yeah, imagine like you got to go to work and that's the energy that you got to deal with all the time. Janelle thinks she's better than everyone. Janelle has problems. I think she's just as volatile as this Tanquilla girl. Habibi, I think it's irresponsible for Ready to Love to be sending women out on a date with somebody like Habibi, because he clearly has no sense of boundaries and no type of empathy. He sat up there in front of Sierra and Janelle and acted oblivious to the things that he said and how someone might be affected by it. He sat there and tried to explain how there was a logical reason as to why he told this girl her mama ain't shit. What we seen him say to Janelle, what we heard that he said to Janelle, we did not see it. However, I believe it happened because he's kind of obnoxious. And he keeps saying that he's a jokester and it's not funny. And then had this lady like sitting across from him. I'm sure as much as Janelle gives off stank energy without any type of incentive, this time I understand where she was coming from. So then you got Kira sitting here holding his hand. Girl, what is you holding his hand for? Why does he need somebody to have his back? He's the one that's off. And when I say off, I mean not right. And there's degrees to it. And I think somebody shouldn't find out just how off he is, but when they're in a date with him out somewhere, you know what I'm saying? It just didn't seem right. Janelle got really upset to the point in which she got up and walked off in her blue dress. Let's talk about her blue dress. I don't like it. She's sitting up there with her thigh thrown up in the air looking like somebody's auntie. It was a blue sequins dress. It looked like it came from, I don't know, holiday at Macy's. You know when Macy's be having all them holiday dresses? That's what it looks like. Big old hair. Janelle was Janelle-ing. Like, she's a pretty lady, but this ain't it. Sierra, why don't you help your friend? You the stylist. She needs to enlist you for some help. Anyway, she gets upset. She walks off the stage because she's done dealing with Habibi, and I don't blame her because he's sitting there again trying to act like he doesn't, understand what's going on or why people think he did something wrong and he didn't mean it. the whole time he's following her, she's saying, leave me alone, get away from me. And they just followed her back there. And I feel like that's not okay. Like he should have been made to go sit his ass down somewhere. I guess eventually they did make him go sit down, and he decided while he was sitting, he was going to entertain the people with his saxophone skills, because we've been waiting on that. We've been waiting on our moment to hear Habibi play the saxophone. Janelle was in the back room, and the only person that came to see about her was Herbert. Quentin, where you at? This is your girl. You got Red on the couch talking about he about to, still keep that thing going because you ain't about shit. And now you got Herbert back here rubbing her tears, wiping her tears away with the tissue out of his pocket. No Quentin, nowhere to be found. And then you got this psycho ass connection. So apparently, Habibi and Tanquilla have found love. They're yin to each other's yang. I guess, child. Anyway, Tanquilla comes out there with her psychotic self. It's something wrong with this girl. Seriously. And like I said, it's something clearly wrong with her. And of all the people for Unique to attach herself to, she's sitting here, I don't know, being support system for Tanquilla, because she needs something. So now you have Tanquilla and her love on one side, and you've got Janelle and Jessica on the other side, and Phil. Janelle, Jessica, and Phil. Tanquilla is holding some animosity towards Phil, and it's strange as hell because he wasn't feeling her. That happens. I've never been that pressed about somebody who really wasn't a connection with me. It happens to everyone. You go out and you go, the vibe just don't be that of one. And you can be like, he's very handsome and smart and all these things, but for us as a match, I don't think he's feeling me like that. I think it's okay to be honest about that. For whatever reason it is. Everybody has their thing. Tanquilla clearly took this very personal, so much so that she felt like she needed to come attack this man. So she said that apparently she made him uncomfortable when she brought up the threesome. And so nobody asked her what made her uncomfortable, and what makes her uncomfortable is broke energy. And people who filed bankruptcy got broke energy. So that's where she went with that. Phil was looking at her like, what? What are you talking about? So apparently Phil had a bankruptcy. I don't know how she obtained this information. I doubt that they had that much of a conversation that came out. But during the time when he filed bankruptcy was when the housing market crashed. And so there's a moral to the story. It didn't look good for Phil just because the whole narrative that has been out there is that Phil is broke. So that was just one more thing for her to add to, the narrative that has been put out about him. But even that, like, I never got from this that he was broke. I got from it that him and Aries were not necessarily on the same trajectory. But yeah, so she went, it just made things weird. It was like, girl, what are you talking about? You pulling out a bankruptcy about this man that y'all don't have any type of situation ship. It just, y'all were just on the show and it didn't work out, and that's it. And he voted to, have you gone. This girl has some issues. That's the only way to put it. Like, she gets really upset. She was sitting there, like, as soon as she came out there, whatever was on her mind, she couldn't. They was like, so you and Habibi have found each other? She was like, yeah, we keep in touch. Like, she couldn't even focus on her man. He's sitting there talking about how they're the yin to each other's yang, and she's sitting in there wrapped in her feathers with, birdcage chains hanging around her neck. I don't know what the hell she had. Around her legs. I don't know what this girl is wearing. She looked a fool. She looked like a caged bird caged up. She looked damn fool is what she looked. And she was rocking. It was making me nervous. I was like, she turned already. They just sit down and she's already turned. She's turned so much she can't sit still. And she's this much anger towards Phil and Janelle. For what? If you got the man anyway, if the thing was you was mad that Janelle wanted him voted off or said anything about him, don't matter, because at the end of the day, y'all are yinging and yanging. So what are you so upset for? Girl, Janelle looking over there like sitting over there like she about to bust a blood vessel because that's just what Janelle looks like. And Jessica sitting there with her RBF because that's what Jessica does. I don't even know why Jessica's there, because was she a part of the blow up? Not really. Now, do I think Janelle and Jessica were talking shit to get this lady, twerked up? Yes, I do. I don't think it take a lot to get her twerked up. I think she be on ready. And so does Janelle. So look at that face she's sitting there making, like, is she ready to go? She ready to go. At one point, when she got turned, this Tequila, because she was like, Phil was like, I see, based on the fact that you brought that up against me, explains why I would never choose somebody like you. He was like, you're hella immature. And she was like, so are you. And so is the other people sitting on that couch with you. Like, she was ready to go. She was ready to go. And Tommy asked Janelle, like, so what is going on? What is the problem? And Janelle goes, I didn't even know there was a problem. I don't care. I hope she gets everything that she needs. And Tommy was like, so there's no problem? There's no problem here on this side. So everything good, Tanquilla? It's good. Clearly, we can just move forward. And awkward pause. Everybody's like, so well, what happened? It was very weird because we got this girl over here rocking and she's ready still. Like, she's saying that it's not a problem, but based on the energy between the two of them, it's very much a problem. And just because Janelle wasn't rocking back and forth, she was definitely oozing out this, I want to, snatch you type energy. That's the energy she was giving both of them. Just Jessica sat there and was like, oh yeah, she definitely would want to fight us. Cause yeah, that's the energy. It was a brewing. We all felt it. And so they get done. Tommy says his little spiel and they end it on that weird ass note. So they go in the back. As they're walking in, Tequila, I think her friend Unique was sitting there. Like I said, I don't know why Unique was sitting there. She had nothing to do with any of this. She just her moral support, I suppose. So they came in the back, and Tequila was coming in the back like, you could hear her because she's still mic'd up. So all of a sudden, she's just in this bouncy mood. Then Janelle goes to sit down and she says, somebody lost their feather. And why does she say that? Because Tequila is like, yeah, that's right. It's me. They're fabulous all over the place. I'm dropping feathers, but they got it going on because I'm got it like that. And yeah, I'm ready. She sits down. I'm ready. Let's go. I'm ready. Come on with it. Let's go. Janelle then bangs the table. Bam. Do you want to fight me, Tequila? And then, what's her boyfriend? Quentin. Quentin steps out of the way like he ain't got nothing to do with any of this. These ladies want to fight. He's not. He didn't be like, babe, calm down, chill out. Like what your man's supposed to do. No, he got out the way. He was like, they're going to be fighting. I'm just going to get out the way. So her people, Janelle's people, stand there and kind of calm her, try to. Tanquilla's people was over there trying to calm her. All the guys that were standing in that corner basically stepped away. They didn't want to have nothing to do with Tanquilla and her crazy behavior. She tried to sling the table, but of course, security stopped it. And that's how that ended. I guess when we come back tomorrow for part 2 of this finale, we'll resume this fight. Ready to Love needs some insurance, because instead of having people over there ready to love, and over the seasons, there's been a little crankiness, but this man is over here basically harassing women, because that's what it is. I don't care if he understands and if that he's sorry and any of that. I don't believe he's sorry. I believe he knows exactly what he is doing. I believe he gets rewarded for being an asshole. Thus him still even being here at the reunion and having one more chance to perform this performance that he's giving. And then you got Tequila, who seems like every video that you see on social media of some lady snatching up another lady at the daggone local Walmart or Dollar Tree. That's her. Like, Tequila is the Walmart Dollar Tree lady that be snapping on, TikTok. And you be sitting there for 3 minutes watching her scream at the cashier and knocking shit over. That's the energy Tequila gives. This girl, Janelle, as much as she likes to pretend like she's this intelligent goddess who has it all going on, she pulled up at this girl's house, Katarina. She took her happy grown ass over to this lady's house, talking about, you told me to pull up. I pulled up. Do you think in my big old age that I'm getting in my car and going to anybody's house because they told me to pull up? Pull up. Shut the fuck up. How about that? I am not out here as no adult scrapping with some women over what? Marie, Quentin, and Habibi? Is that what we're fighting about? Anyway, y'all, they've done their share of videos, interviews. I feel like that's a separate conversation. So we're going to go ahead and end this one right here. I'll see y'all probably, what's today? Today is Thursday. The part 2 is Friday. And so I'm going to do my best to get, part 2's review up on Sunday. Try to get this week back on track. Don't hold me to it, but that's the plan. In the meantime, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and we'll be back. Bye, y'all.